All right, welcome to our second feature match of the evening here for week 4. I got Zach C, Player of the Year, with me. I think first time on commentary.
First time on commentary.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Not too bad. We got another elimination match here with somebody on 10 losses. This time it's going to be one of my people here, the teamer. It's Lucas M. He's at 9 and 10 up against Keelan, who's on the Sultai, and he's at 9-9. What's going on in Keelan's hand over here to start the game?
All right, Keelan's playing straight Golgari, it seems. Just forest swamps and a bunch of green and black cards. Winding Constrictor or Traveling Botanist.
Hmm.
He's choosing to go with the Traveling Botanist. I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce
botanist.
that word.
Um,
Botanist.
yeah, interesting to see a two-color deck. It's
Mm-hmm.
really unusual to see it, just because like the three-color cards are so powerful. It's hard to forego them.
Right. I'm not sure if he is splashing a third color,
Yeah,
but his hand is just full of green and black cards.
yeah, we'll find out. We got a Mardu deck here. Not a Mardu, sorry, a Jeskai deck here for Lucas. Seems to be like a tempo-y type of deck. He does have a Wild Ride in hand, which is that sorcery that gives haste and +3/+0. So looking to potentially get in for some big chunks of damage. He's got a Mardu Devotee and 2 lands, and he's got that Unnerving Grasp that he used right away to bounce the Botanist. Just such a still good, still good, even though we're not in Dustmorn. Card's still good.
Keelan seems to be playing the +1/+1 counter synergy. I see he has an Ozolith in his pool, um, a Drag Mangler in hand,
Okay.
Winding Constrictor, like I said earlier.
Yeah, that's been one of the ones where it's even in draft. It's like it's hard to come up with the black green counters like really dedicated version. So maybe we'll see it work in here. He's scrying a land to the bottom and a Frostcliff Siege to the top, which is the is it blue red siege. But cannot he can't attack his 2/2 face down past a 2/3 here. Yeah, this Tomb Guard, like it looks like it's gonna be like the linchpin foundational card of its deck. It just turns out that deck just didn't didn't come together too often, in at
Mm-hmm.
least from what I've
Yeah.
seen. But maybe it'll do some work here. The face down creature is an instant, so it's nothing of any consequence.
And Keelan, I believe, was he on the play or on the draw?
He was the first one to play the bot. He played the botanist first, so he was on the play. So he did miss a land here.
So yeah, he did miss a land. Yeah.
That botanist would have been very helpful. Yeah, usually when I'm playing Wild Ride, it's when my opponent can't block me. But I guess getting that Tomb Guard off the table, potential for it to draw cards was potentially not
All
something that Lucas wanted.
all right. I have new information. We just drew a Sage of the Sky, so it's looking more like Abzan, though. I'm looking at his pool right now, and he doesn't have a lot of Abzan cards. So it might just be the Sage of the Sky and a couple other like +1/+1 counter synergy cards.
Yeah, could be just a
So,
super light splash, like 4 or 5 cards,
mhm.
maybe a couple more. But uh, you know, normally 4 or 5 cards I would say is like a heavy splash, but in this set it's pretty small. All right. So it looks like he's deciding
and
between drawing cards here or pumping, and I think he's going to go for the cards here.
and I could see an answer for the Kirin coming next turn, given he
Yeah,
doesn't want his opponent to be drawing forever. So he has Well of War, the instant speed -1/-1, Dragon's Prey, or Sarkhan's Resolve.
I guess
All
they'll all do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it will be kind of like a 2-for-1 already, just because the Kieran already drew a card, but it will prevent future card draw at the very least. Lukas has 2 lands in hand, absolutely nothing going on, unfortunately for him. And we see another one of those counter synergy cards with, I think it
Mm-hmm.
was the Maverick going in the graveyard from MKM.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A
So
combo, unfortunately, he might be making his opponent draw a card unless he holds up Whale of War to give -1/-1 to the Mardu and not let them draw a card that way.
yeah, that would be a way to avoid that. Okay, looks like he's going to do that. He's trying to turn inside out here,
Oh,
so not that. I guess that is useful against removal.
mhm. You would rather use it to trade up, though he can use it to draw a card with the Siege, unlike the Mardu Devotee, or to get the 2/2 off of the Kieran if he chooses.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like a classic screw versus mana screw versus mana
Mhm.
flood here, with the mana screw player just just waiting to unlock their hand, and Lukas just hoping to draw relevant spells here since he's got all the lands. So you never like to be the flooded player in this when it comes down to this kind of situation. All right, he's going to attack, try and get his card here, and looks like he won't be getting his card. Yeah. I mean, if he really wanted to draw a card, he could turn inside out his Mardu Devotee, but I
Mhm.
don't think he's in the market for that. I think he'd rather just have a body. And we've already seen, at least in the earlier feature match and even in this match, oh, he's going to go for the card here. Interesting. Rather have a card than a two. And perfect draw off the top here. Absolute perfect draw. What a brilliant play to, to now draw this into the
I was
sky.
just I was just going to say.
my, it's just could not draw it up any more perfect. Yeah, I think you'd rather have that in hand than have that be your manifest. So, or yeah, sometimes you just sometimes the perfect card is waiting for you. You just need to find it. It's interesting. I
So,
think in a lot of cases you would just fire it off on your creature that's going to be destroyed to get your 2/2. But he said, "Look, I'm down on cards. I need to find something off the top of my deck. A 2/2 vanilla ain't doing it," and he was rewarded.
here, Keelan has the 2 removal spells for flyers, so he's still in a okay position. Um, he's likely going to want to Dragon's Prey one of them. Though I would be tempted in playing the Maverick, attacking and having like Sarkhan's Resolve or some Sarkhan's Resolve up,
Yeah,
but he
more
should
lands
stay.
here, but at least Lucas gets to draw another card here before his other Sage of the Sky gets destroyed.
Mhm.
Yeah, all right, and he does have a spell here, Zurgo's Vanguard, so that's going to be a potentially sizable attacker here.
And can you remind me how the siege reads? It's once per turn.
It's whenever one or more combat creatures deal combat damage to an opponent, draw a card.
So it seems like Keelan drew a white source for next turn
Next
for
turn,
his
yeah.
own Sage of the Skies.
Okay. The dueling Sage of the Skies probably favors the person who has 2 of them. So what are his options for this turn then? If he's wants to use his land to get
Uh,
white, he'll only has access to 4 mana.
to 4 mana. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's getting the white just yet. Um, but his options were also Winding Constrictor, Dream Drinker, Vampire, which I think I might have went with the 2-drop and the Resolve.
Okay.
But he chooses to go with the Mangler, so Sigil of the Sky will only come down in 2 turns from now, potentially.
Yeah, I mean he's not in imminent danger here whatsoever. Now Lucas did draw a Just Guy Devotee, so nothing special, just a 2/2. He can play it, cast Wild Ride, and make his creatures a little bit bigger and go for an attack, but it's not gonna get him too much further. I mean, it's still a fine play.
And
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna do it.
perhaps the Drag Mangler play was the best just because it blocks the Vanguard so well.
Yep, that was probably in consideration. Now we got a 6/3 and a 4/3 attacking. So if the goal is to, get another card in hand, that should work here. Probably wants to. He probably doesn't want to take 6, but he knows that this is the better trade.
Mhm.
All right, so 6 damage in a card. I mean, Lucas is doing everything he can here, despite only having lands and drawing yet another one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sometimes this is what happens. I mean, we see it all the time. But we still love this game, even though it does this to us from time to time. Why do you constrictor? Another cool card from the Tarkir Reforged that I really haven't seen being made use of yet. But
And so here's the first Lifelinker coming out with the Dream Drinker Vampire and the Sage of the Skies in hand. Though he might have a hard time double spelling next turn, given he only just drew Armament Corpse. But that's a pretty good card with +1/+1 counter synergies.
yeah, so we're about to see some Winding Constrictor action take place. But there is a Stormplane Detainment drawn. That's the Banishing Light type a card here. The question is, do you go after the Constrictor, thinking there's going to be more counters, or do you go after the Lifelinker? Because I can get 2 counters next turn. And he said Lifelinker.
Is it a land in hand for the last card?
It sure is.
Oh,
Yeah, so no attacks here, and looks like Keelan's going to be turning the corner, perhaps, with his Sage of the Skies. Yeah, no attacks, and then we get. Yeah. Yeah, so Winding Constrictor already has like things to do from the graveyard, but that will get extra counters. But I think priority number one for life is to get down these life linking flyers.
seems like he's siding on the Armament Corps, just given he can't double spell with the Sage of the
Oh,
Skies.
you can't double spell yet. Okay. So here he's really distributing. Yeah, gets 2 counters on each. This is.
Combo.
Yeah, I actually funny story. I played the Windy Constrictor deck in Standard when I won a limited tournament that qualified me for a Pro Tour qualifier that was Standard. So I did. I am very familiar with the Windy Constrictor and all of its friends at the time.
Oh, and sorry, I keep forgetting to update you on what cards Keelan's been drawing. He drew a Storm of the Sea Core, so more counters.
Oh, that's going to end the game pretty quick, actually. We got a Draconic Roar here off the top here, which does absolutely nothing. 3
Oh, deals
damage.
3. Though, if they can reveal a dragon, that's 3 to the face.
Well, no dragons to be seen right now. And the Storm the Seed Core is gonna end this game like pretty fast. Like everything's gonna be like a 6 power trampler.
This seems like it might be the double spell turn. He's
Okay.
just drawn a Nanoc Wayfarer, so more counters. Oh, they're thinking about storming the Seed Core
I mean,
instead.
there's not much punishment you could have for it. Any removal or interaction that Lucas had, he would have played already. That could get rid of something.
That's true. I forgot it gave Vigilance and Trample.
Yeah, and so he's basically can dump like for 7 counters, I guess. Because normally it
Yeah.
distributes 4 counters, so here you can distribute basically 7.
Hmm.
So 3, 2, 2. Yeah, everything's going to be 6 or 7 power trampling, and that's just gonna straight up end the game. 7, not exact lethal, but impossible to come back from without a board wipe. Now it's lethal. 21 minus 4 is exactly 17. All right. Well, this game went. Keelan's deck went from 0 to 60 very very fast here.
And they didn't even need the Stage of the Skies.
Well, no, don't need
Or
to
the
show your
White.
opponent that. Yeah,
Oh, I mean, I guess
yeah.
Armament
So
Corpse
the
was white mana.
screw versus flood plays out like it usually does, which is with this mana screw ending up drawing out of it.
All right. On your side, it's a straight Just Guy deck, right?
Yeah, Just Guy has 2 Narsets, got the new way forward, has Dragon Lord Ojutai from our and Flying Crane Technique and Thunderbreak Regent. It's
Hmm.
base red white. There's a handful of blue cards, like 5 or 6, something like that. Maybe a couple more than that, but base red white.
On Keelan's side, it's only splashing for Armament Corp,
Okay.
the stage, uh, a baby rhino, and an Absent Charm, and a reputable merchant. So very light white splash.
Yeah, Lucas is looking at Suspension Field in his sideboard, which is it's like a two
Hmm.
mana O ring, but only for creatures with 3 toughness or more, which was everything.
Everything, yeah. That's pretty good against like the Drag Manglers, so they don't get value from the
I spotted your signature card in his deck as well.
card. Yeah, I did too. Write down.
When that hits, it hits hard. The ride down, so you're able to
Yeah,
drop anything, no matter of its size, just out, and you still get to deal damage.
it's a little bit worse on blocks.
It's a little bit blank text on blocks. Right, he's looking at Riverwalk technique also, maybe just to reset a creature that's got a bunch of counters on it. Like he's seeing this deck is very, very heavily focused on counters. So he can adjust and maybe remove some of his smaller removal cards. Like the Draconic Roar, if you get it on turn 2, it's good, but in that later in the game, we saw how it was no longer relevant. He's trying to figure out what to cut here. Any changes on
Um,
Keelan's side?
Keelan, Keelan's done sideboarding, and I kind of missed what he did,
Yeah, I mean,
but
sometimes they either
nothing
do
crazy.
something real fast or just do nothing. Yeah, he's deciding on the last cut here. Yeah, he might just so he's put the suspension field in. The Riverwalk technique is still off to the side, so I think he's maybe deciding if he wants to play that one or not. I did notice he's on 23 lands, which is a little bit low. He doesn't have anything that fetches lands, but he has three Mardu devotees. So if he gets one in opening hand, he can smooth it out. And we saw that even with a bit lower land count of 23, he still found all of his
Hmm.
lands, or it felt like all of his lands. This again, just deciding what to cut here. Looks like the Fire Rim form, which is that the enchantment combat trick, the red card. He's decided to cut that.
What's that one? The +2/+0 first strike?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. That makes.
All right. So once another land heavy hand here for
And
Lucas.
another land light hand for Keelan with two lands, a forest and a black source, and a traveling botanist. So I think it's gonna be a keep here, but hoping to draw more lands than last time.
Yeah, we got a five lander here with a two drop creature and New Way Forward, which is that 5 mana rare, prevent damage, draw that many cards.
Mm.
The sort of deflecting palm variant, if for those who played Khans of Tarkir. And he is going to keep it and just hope. Hope, not really a great strategy generally, but that's all you can do when you keep a five lander.
And I can give you some more information. There's an alchemist assistant, the Child of Night variant,
Yep.
Well of War, Absent Charm, Host of the Hereafter, which is the two Golgari card. That's a 4/4 with the counter synergies, and he just drew a Jungle Hollow,
Okay.
so his third
Botanist.
land.
It feels like I always see this card on turn two, and I hate seeing it.
Alarm bells going off.
So
What does he have?
there was actually nothing. He had this. Well, he has Sun Pearl Kyrian, so
Okay,
he could save his 1/2, or he could bounce his token.
or draw a card, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, draw a card. Yeah, so he could save his 1/2, or he could draw a card from the token. So very little incentive for him to not attack. Ah, botanist
Ooh.
drawing cards here. I mean, this is kind of messed up for a 2 drop. You just get to draw land just for attacking.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2/3, draw a card.
I mean, remember in Dustborn they made an entire mechanic where your creature had to survive combat and be tapped, and here you just play your 2 mana 2/3, and you just get to potentially draw a card.
Hmm.
Right, so he is just gonna play this Kieran here for value to draw a card, and of course he's drawn a land because that's his specialty today. Right, so he has the Frostcliff Siege here, same one that he had last game, so it's a pretty good one to run out and start trying to draw some cards that are not lands, preferably. So what's the next turn looking like for Keelan potentially?
Keelan's just happy he drew basically 3 lands since keeping a 2-lander. So probably Host of the Hereafter. He also
Yeah,
has a Purging Stormbrood.
that's not bad. Yeah, yeah. We saw the exact thing in the earlier feature match with Kevin keeping the two lander with only two of his three colors and just drew the mountain right off the top and then drew uh, the exact lands that he needed to curve out.
Hmm.
Sometimes you
But
keep the two lander and you get to do everything, and sometimes you keep it and you get to do absolutely nothing.
but on the draw with the Botanist seems pretty good. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why is it that whenever my opponent plays a traveling botanist, I cannot produce a creature capable of blocking it, but whenever I play it, they just have like a 2 on death touch? Opponent just plays their 2 on death touch, like, yeah, cool. Don't care.
Or whenever your opponent plays it, it draws them a card, and whenever you play it, you get to look at the top card of your
I mean,
library.
surveilling is still good. Like, that's still, I'll take it. But
That is true.
yeah. Oh, he's gone for the
Mhm.
interesting that he's gone for the more damage option, despite the fact
And
that he's still looking to be flooded and needing that card. I guess he figured last game
uh,
maybe if I did
I
a few more damage rather than trying to draw cards, I could have won the game.
was gonna ask if they had like a big dragon coming out or something.
They got 3 lands and the new way forward.
Ooh.
So he has to find a new way forward other than drawing lands here if he wants to
Mhm.
get the win here.
And the traveling botanist is looking at the storm, the Seagore.
I mean, seems pretty good.
Pretty good. And they just drew a knockout maneuver, so it's looking even better.
Yeah, so even if Lucas draws out of this, Keelan just seems to have the right mix of interaction and things to do. So this is going to be a tough one for Lucas, even if he did go for the card draw option on the siege. But yeah, I don't know what I would do there, but I feel like with no threats in hand, choosing the +1/+0 haste
Oh.
option is not amazing.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah. Um, I'm noticing a nice interaction, I guess, with the host of the hereafter that can move around that lifelink counter.
yeah, put its counters is what it says. Yeah, so he does have the new way forward here to at least you know get something going other than the 3 lands in his hand. So he'll be able to prevent, I guess, the 4 damage here. Another card drawn for Botanist. Yeah, you don't see this one very often, but it can swing a
Right.
game. Holy cow, he says. Yeah, I would say the same thing.
I was gonna say, right? So, I guess had they known like they're about to draw 4 cards, um, the haste is a little bit more enticing, but the host of the hereafter wasn't like on the board.
All right, let's draw some cards. All right, they're all spells. He's drawn
Oh.
4 spells here. Mardu Devotee, Sage of the Sky, Draconic Roar, and an old friend from Cons of Tarkir, the Seeker of the Way. That's the 2 mana 2/2 prowess and gains lifelink whenever you cast a non creature. So
Keelan's debating between casting 5/5 the 5 mana 4/4 dragon, the Purging Stormbrute, or putting the lifelink counter and perhaps using knockout maneuver.
yeah, I mean this. I don't think he's that worried about the Kirin, but it can't be that bad to gain life here. Yeah.
And choosing to diversify his counters.
Oh, another banger off the top here. Dragon Lord Ojitai.
With haste, it's even better. They
It
knew
does have
all
haste.
along.
It does have haste. Cannot deny that. But is that good enough here? Unfortunately, his Draconic Roar once again is out of targets. That would have been something I may have decided to remove in sideboarding just because Keelan's
How
creatures
much is
get real
the?
big. All right, well, he's
Oh,
Strang 2, and there's 2 dragons on top here.
you love to see it.
So there's the Jeskai Shrine Keeper, which is the
Mhm.
3/3 haste.
Double
Well, I guess
haste.
everything has haste. And a Thunderbreak Regent, which basically your opponent will take 3 damage whenever they target a dragon.
And that's a 4/4.
4/4 for 4.
And yeah, he does have red red.
Yeah, he has the Devotee as well, so
Hmm.
he's got it either way. And here comes the Seeker of the
Oh,
Way. Here comes the Sage of the Sky, and they're all gonna have lifelink.
wow.
So
And all haste.
we've got
Yeah.
11 damage here, and then he can just Draconic Roar, revealing his dragon, and deal the last 3 that way. Now that's a bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So even if there's some crazy board wipe here, Lucas has the last 3 damage in hand with the Draconic Roar.
Um,
I mean,
the trap botness will heal up a little bit, but it's not looking too good for Keelan. The trample haste play was really key here.
yeah, naming the +1/+0 trample haste option was the difference here.
Wow.
I mean, maybe he's thinking now in his head, should I have done that last game? But last game he was just drawing only lands, so it didn't matter that much. But here, where he played that new way forward, drew those 4 cards, and they were all non-lands, and he got to play 3 of them in a turn and attack with all of them. Yeah, that's a way to swing a game. Now Keelan's left saying, "What just happened?"
Trying to see if he can survive.
I mean, he has to destroy both of the flyers, and then even then, he'll still be he'll still be lethal with the Draconic Roar. But again, there's no way you can know that.
Right, it seems he's 1 mana off of gaining a lot of life and having the Will of War.
Okay. I mean, that is a lot of
Or
life. That is a large amount of life. Okay.
and he's also
I mean, with the Dragonlord Ojutai, it's going to be lethal here because it's all flying,
mhm.
or the Thunderwreck region, either one. I mean, there's 2 mana open. It could be like a Sarkhan's Resolve or something to remove the dragon.
And
Or
both of them leaves up the deal 3 uh, spell.
yep, yeah. Is there any instance here of note?
No, he's not holding anything. He has
Okay.
the Storm Brood, but he's missing the white to give the +2
All right.
+2
Well, at
white
the very
white.
least, he's giving Lucas pause here as to what to do next. I guess he figures let me play the Thunderbag region because that's more damage in case he can target it. And this looks like the damage needed. Yeah. So just an explosive turn after just drawing many lands, drawing 4 non-lands and casting 3 of them and attacking with all of them. Just really turn that game around, and we're getting a game 3 here.
Keelan's looking at Heritage Reclamation right now to get rid of that siege.
Sure. I mean, if he has no other way to do it, you prefer to have like your Stormplane Detainment or Kintree Severance. Like you prefer to have catch-all cards that will
Mhm.
incidentally kill enchantments. But if you don't, that's what we do.
Let's have a look. Um,
They're too busy chatting to sideboard here, which it's okay. It gives us extra info as to what's going on in their head.
Unfortunately, Keelan doesn't have access to like a coordinated maneuver,
Yeah,
but
that
he
would do
does have
too.
access to that detainment you talked about, but he's not looking at it.
Yeah, so he's looking through his sideboard yet again here. I mean, this Draconic Roar, I mean, yes, it represented 3 damage, 3 direct damage, but it still doesn't destroy that many things as we get late into the game. No changes this time for Lucas. He did change a couple cards the first time around, but is sticking with the same 60 from game 2 here.
Yeah, not late into the game, but I think it's still worth playing just because the two botness and the one what do you call that one? The
Winding
constrictor.
Constrictor, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still good. I guess it's just like from experience, we've seen it be bad twice, but I think in the abstract, it is just good to have. But I will say, when as we get in like the second half of the league, those are the type of removals I start cutting from my deck. So Keelan is still, I guess, considering some changes.
Yeah, and
All right, we're good then.
his last cut ended up being the um, armament corpse.
Okay, so he did bring in the naturalize effect then.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, he figures there's probably like Stormplane detainments and other white enchantment stuff going on.
His opening a hand on the play is a forest and a rubble belt maverick, no other land. He chose to throw it away, and now he's looking at 4 lands, so probably just going to keep 3 of them.
There are some people who probably keep that hand with the Maverick.
Yeah, Sorrel too. And now he's trying to see which land to keep, and seems he's putting a swamp away,
Okay.
which will work, right? Yeah, he's able to fetch for a forest, and then he has the great city, whatever it's called, that
Yep.
comes on tap if you have a forest or a plain.
Okay.
I was worried he'd have like 3 tap lands, but he'll be
No.
able to play 2 drop on 2.
Yeah, I'm not in a place to say keeping a one lander with a Surveil 2 on turn one is correct or incorrect. I know I am incapable of doing it, but that doesn't make it correct or incorrect. Well, here's where you wish you had your Draconic Roar. Unfortunately, we just have some two drops, not of major consequence here. For Lucas, he's got Jeskai Devotee, Embermouth Sentinel. He's got the Heartfire Immolator, which he just played. Riverwalk Technique, and 3 planes. So he'll be able to play out his spells, but none of them are going to be extremely impactful here in the early game.
And what's left in his hand is an absent devotee. Just drew a Whale of War, a Citadel, which he just played, a Forest, and a Sarkhan's Resolve.
Okay, not, nothing special going
So,
on there either.
yeah, not much follow up, just 2 spells and a land.
Yeah, Lucas once again claiming his potential title of landlord here with 3 lands in hand, and then he's got the Embermouth
Mm,
Sentinel, which goes and gets a land, which I'm sure he's not interested in. Yeah, he's got the Riverwalk Technique also.
okay.
Yeah, so the Immolator,
Um,
not a card that I've seen in a while, I'll say. But it's 2/2 prowess. You can pay red, sacrifice it, and it deals damage equal to its power to a creature. It was in a core set once upon a time. Yeah, attacks with Abza and Devotee. It's just like, I'm so annoyed when my opponent actually has like an attack with this card. It's like, really? I guess I'm taking 2. I'm not blocking this.
and Keelan's pretty happy about his draw. He drew a Dream Drinker Vampire, so that can adapt and put 2 counters on himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a card that I think I just the decks that it was supposed to be good in MH3 weren't like great decks and didn't come together that often. But I think in the context of like our league, I think like this is a totally okay card.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to go in black white or black green, like black white modified, black green counters, and just wasn't super great in either, or just neither of the decks were super great. But yeah, anything from MH3 is probably powerful enough to
Mhm.
merit consideration
I,
here.
I agree.
Right, nice draw here. One of the better things he could draw to cast on 4, which is the Thunderbreak region.
Nice.
But you said Keelan does have a removal for that. It'll just cost him some
Yeah,
life.
he does have this Arcane's Resolve.
Oh,
And
interesting. He's decided to leave up a Riverwalk technique instead of playing
casting
the
the dragon.
Thunderbreak region. So I'm not sure if what he's hoping to hit exactly. I guess the
And
the
Keelan
vampire.
Keelan chose not to adapt last turn.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
I'm
He had
not
the mana though,
sure.
right?
Yeah, he kept up the resolve, possibly to like potentially save one of his creature.
So it gains menace, right? When you
Yeah, it would
okay.
gain menace and it would be a 4/3, which would make me think it has attacks.
Yeah, it looks like you might just
Uh, mhm.
take it easy here. I mean, in response to the adapt, Lucas could also just target it with the Heartfire Immolator. So if he did try and do adapt it, he could just sacrifice his Immolator. All right, looks like Lucas is tired of this Abzan devotee, at least for now.
And Keelan drew a Undergrowth Leopard, choosing not to run that out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we know that Keelan has a removal, but I mean, holding up this Riverwalk technique, it's not like a high value play, really. I kind of like just
And
playing the Thunderbank region, even if my opponent has a removal. Like, at least I'm not setting my mana on fire here. Because Lucas did absolutely nothing with his mana last turn. Here, Keelan, he gets to at least use his mana to get back his Abzan devotee. It's not the greatest use of mana, but it's better than not using it at all.
and here he might choose to adapt and hold up the resolve once more. Though I'd be happy just getting the devotee back.
Yeah, let's see what he decides here. I think perhaps Lucas just wants to always hold up the Immolator trigger, and in order to do that, he needs an extra red source to play the Thunderbreak since it costs 2 red.
Mm.
That might be the thing holding him back, because in most cases you just run out your 4/4 flying. If your opponent destroys it, they destroy it, but at least you're just trying to be proactive rather than just sit back. I think I would block, yeah. See what my opponent does. So I guess Keelan's
Here,
thinking he could. Oh,
here I
okay.
would have been happy to adapt, and then if they sack in response, you adapt a second time, right? Because it doesn't have the counter on it.
Uh, oh, I guess you can do that. Is that how adapt works?
Yeah,
I don't
as long
remember
as
the
it doesn't have
exact.
counters on it, you can do the thing, and then the second one would fizzle because it has a counter on it.
Oh yeah, you can actually activate the adapt even after it's adapted. It just doesn't do
Oh, really?
anything. Yeah, it just does absolutely nothing.
But chose not to, being afraid of whatever mana they're representing.
So
Um,
still taking it really slow at this Thunderbreak region.
mhm.
Of note, if the Thunderbreak region was in play, the Embermouth Sentinel would put a land directly into play. So it does have that text once in a blue moon. It happens.
That's true. Yeah, I love when it does. All right, now choosing to attack with the constructor, it seems.
Yeah. Well, what I love even more is not putting Sentinel in my deck if I don't have to. But it's fine. It's a fine card to run. Just I prefer not to run it if I don't have to.
Keelan is choosing to play the devotee and probably hold up 2 mana, but they did draw Ozolith.
Yeah, this is like this game is kind of crawling a little bit here. Just Keelan, I guess, like just limited on mana, and Lucas uh, just wanting access to his Riverwalk technique, and I think when the Ozolith comes down, he's gonna be happy about that. But he still just has to sit here and kind of let Keelan do whatever, and not really have much to do. I mean, he does have this frontline rush here, but creating 2/1/1s is not it on this board. Yeah, so he's drawn a Wild Ride here, which doesn't do too much. And I think he's just going to continue to. I assume he's not going to be casting his Thunderbreak region. So interesting. I don't know what the long term plan is by holding up 4 mana that hasn't been used for a few turns. But look, he knows his deck better than me, so I'm guessing he wants to get the most out of this Riverwalk technique and not, be tapped out of it. Okay, so he is now going to cast the Thunderbreak Regent. So I wonder why now cast it instead of leaving up Riverwalk Technique, and now,
And now the dragon's going to die.
yep, that's
Unless,
what happens.
but here I would be tempted with the 5 mana to kill the dragon and Well of War the whole board away and
Oh,
getting it for 6, but I have all the information, you know?
yeah, that works. I was saying all these turns. Why did he not play the Regent and just leave up Riverwalk Technique every turn after? Now he's tapped out of the Riverwalk Technique and is probably going to want it back. But after just turns of not impacting the board very much, he figured I have to do something. And now this Ozolith gets to resolve, and Lucas is probably thinking to himself, "Dang, I could have countered that." Yeah, this is like another example of why counter spells are they're really hard to play with, honestly, in limited.
Mm,
Like I just kind of use them as soon as I can. Yeah, I'm just
right.
like, oh, they gave me something to counter. Cool. I don't care what it is. All right, so Keelan now has the power to just make anything into a complete monster with the Ozolith and the Constrictor here.
Oh wow, I didn't
Yeah.
realize what any of the cards did. That's 3 counters for 2 mana.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So I'm not sure exactly how Lucas is gonna. We saw last game wondering how he was going to draw out of it, but there he had a card that drew 4 cards. Here he has no such card at his disposal. He can Riverwalk Technique to at least set back whatever the counters get thrown on next turn, but yeah, with only a Wild Ride and a Riverwalk Technique in hand, it's gonna be rough. And
Yeah.
Keelan didn't even have to use his Sarkhan's Resolve and take 3 damage. He just traded his Abzan Devotee for a Thunderbreak Regent.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't know what Oslet did. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's got the full counters deck here. Like, I guess once you get to 9 losses, that's something that's possible. It's just there's so many 3-color cards in this set. It's just it feels wrong to like leave them out a lot of the time. But when you have synergy this strong, it merits being disciplined with your colors. So pretty safe attack here for 5. Yeah, now Lucas finds himself like behind on board, life, and cards. So definitely needs the top of his deck to be friendly here. I think he's weighing his options of whether he wants to target the snake with Riverwalk Technique. Okay, he looks like not. Okay. So I wonder if getting resetting the snake is not a good enough thing for the Riverwalk Technique to do. Like, what is kind of like the question now. Like, what are we saving
hmm
it for?
It seems like Keelan played pretty well around it, knowing like when he could cast his Ozlith and have it resolve. Um,
Yeah, as long as the non counterspell player has enough other spells to cast, they can kind of play around counter spells by just casting other spells. They don't care if they get countered or not.
so little has happened this game once again.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Um,
we're
with Lucas on 8 lands and Keelan has a 6 drop in hand, the 4/4 reach that makes a 3/3. But
okay.
in this case, it would be like a what would it be?
All right, so we got a
Uh,
siege off the top here. Unfortunately, that was the card that turned the last game around, but Lucas does
there's
not
a
have
lot for
something that
that.
draws him 3 cards or 4 cards here.
And unfortunately, there's the leopard around.
Yeah, Keelan can just get rid of this enchantment if he feels it's too threatening. But I don't even think. I mean, it's not threatening right now.
And also, there's the Whale of War. That's Plague Win.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. I mean, there's the Riverwalk technique here that maybe. I mean,
Buys a
yeah,
turn. What he would love is the palm, the deflecting palm
yeah, the new way
spell.
forward.
But that's not in hand, eh?
No, if that was
Um,
in hand, this would be a very different game. This would be a very winnable game here. But right now, for Lucas, not looking as winnable. And he says, "Yep, time to bash your face in. I got no other choice here. I can't really block anything that you're doing."
oh, and the Well of War though, that's true. They have the negate, so it's not a plague win.
Yes, but uh,
But then it would be lethal with the
yeah,
constrictor. Yeah.
it would just be lethal anyway. So Lucas basically now absolutely must target one of the creatures with the Riverwalk technique here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Constrictor.
Yeah, must.
Yeah, Keelan's done a pretty good job of not playing into things here. Right? I don't know if he really put him exactly on this. Yeah, I think he has to let this happen.
Yeah, he needs to let this happen.
I mean, he could have done this in combat and not taken
Mm-hmm.
10.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's the same outcome for Lucas if he counters it then or now. It means, yeah, he has to let this happen.
And yeah, earlier I was trying to do the math. So the Earth Carver is a 6 mana 4/4 that endures 3, so it could be a 9/9, eh?
Put 3 counters plus 2. Yeah, that'll work. I mean,
Oh, the top deck is another Sarkhan's Resolve, so I think at this point, no, he doesn't have 6 mana, but looks pretty good for Keelan.
so he's going to activate Ozolith, targeting the
Mhm,
leopard, probably.
mhm.
The snake is going to get Riverwalked in response before it can get a third counter, the leopard. And it's still big trouble here. Yeah. Wow, he let it resolve. Okay. I think you would want to do it before. You would want to target the constrictor so that you don't. Okay, he's going for the leopard here. Okay, interesting. I guess he's maybe hoping for some string of haste creatures off the top. I think it's pretty fine to sack this here. This eliminates some of the outs for your opponent. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he can deal an extra 3, but not an extra 4, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So another land here for Lucas means that unfortunately his run here in Dragonstorm League has come to an end. May he rest in peace among the bears and our ancestors. But that also means congratulations to Keelan on the win. So thanks for watching. We'll see you back for our last feature match in a little bit.